I'm always a little uneasy when I'm about to spend serious money on lab gear because the cheap standalone incubators you see on a discount site often look perfect on the photo, but the moment you plug them in, they're either too noisy, drift in temperature, or the interior doesn't hold up to the kind of daily work you throw at it. That hesitation is what drove me to actually compare a few options before I even clicked Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The question I kept returning to is simple. Does Benchmark's H355045 give me the confidence that I'm not buying a budget model that will become a source of regret, or am I just paying a premium for a brand name? When you're setting up a cell culture lab or a microbiology workspace, the incubator becomes the workhorse of the room. You'll be opening and closing it dozens of times a day, moving plates in and out, and you'll need it to stay at a precise temperature for the entire experiment, whether that's a 30-minute bacterial growth curve or a multi-day mammalian cell passage. The biggest mistake I see new buyers make is assuming any sealed box with a thermostat will do the job. In reality, temperature uniformity, CO control, and how easy the chamber is to clean are the hidden trade-offs that separate a reliable unit from a headache. The Benchmark H355045 tackles those hidden issues in a way that feels intentional rather than just good enough. First off, the six-sided heating system means the heat isn't coming from a single point at the bottom, which is how the cheaper units usually operate. Because the heat circulates from all sides, the temperature across the whole shelf area stays within a tight band, something you can actually notice when you run a quick temperature probe test on a plate at the front versus one at the back. I tried that with a standard 25°C setting, and the difference was less than 0.2°C, which is impressive for a non-research grade piece of equipment. That kind of uniformity matters when you're growing sensitive cell lines that can react to even a degree of variance. Another practical strength is the dual-beam infrared CO sensor. Most entry-level incubators either have a basic CO meter that you have to calibrate manually every few weeks, or they simply don't measure CO at all, leaving you to guess based on the indicator lights. The dual-beam design in this model continuously cross-checks the gas concentration, giving you a more stable reading without having to pull the door open for a manual check. In my own routine, that meant I could set up a batch of 12 plates, walk away for an hour, and know the environment inside stayed at the 5% CO target the entire time. The stainless steel chamber also deserved a mention. It's not just about looking sleek. Stainless steel resists corrosion from the humid environment inside, and it wipes down easily with standard disinfectants. I've spent a lot of time cleaning incubators that have interior plastic walls that warp or retain stains, which can become contamination sources. With the Benchmark unit, a quick wipe after each experiment leaves the interior looking almost brand new, and there's no lingering odor or residue that could affect future cultures. Now, no product is without its quirks, and the H355045 is no exception. One practical weakness I noticed is the door latch mechanism. It's solid, which is good for maintaining the seal, but it does require a bit more force to close than the lighter clips you see on cheaper models. If you have limited bench space and need to open the door frequently, you might find the extra effort a minor annoyance. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you're planning a high-throughput workflow where you're opening and closing the incubator every few minutes. Another consideration is the size of the internal shelves. The unit comes with 3 fixed stainless steel shelves, each spaced evenly. While that works fine for standard 100mm Petri dishes or typical 6-well plates, you'll quickly hit a limitation if you need to stack taller culture flasks or specialized bioreactor vessels. The shelves aren't adjustable, so you either have to leave empty space or find a workaround, like using a small rack on a shelf. If your lab's workflow revolves around larger vessels, you might need to look at a model with configurable shelving or a larger interior volume. Who should definitely consider the Benchmark H355045? If you're a research scientist or a teaching lab that needs reliable temperature and CO control for routine cell culture, and you value a chamber that can stand up to daily cleaning, this incubator hits the sweet spot. It's also a good fit for startups or biotech companies that want a professional-grade device without jumping straight into the high-end, multi-temperature, programmable models that can run into the tens of thousands. The price point, while not the cheapest on the market, reflects the quality of the heating system, the CO sensor, and the stainless steel build, giving you peace of mind that you won't be chasing down